Arctic Sapper is, from the way I see it, is someone that I would say they get their mission, and regardless of the terrain that we deal with in Alaska or the weather conditions, you know, they drive on, they make it happen.
On Wednesday, we loaded up 06 out at the birds. We got dropped off at LZ 56. We went up the summit of Temptation Peak.
You'd get in certain places where it wasn't ideal. You know, the wind's hitting you and you're wet, but we would find other ways to maintain our morale.
We kind of traversed the side of the hill, making our way towards the cabin up through the low part in the valley. There was a small trail, but it was pretty overgrown.
Once we got back to the cabin after the peak, we sat there, took our little break, let everybody recover, change socks or whatever they had to do to take care of themselves. We brought some food with us, so we were, you know, making sure to keep our energy up. And then whenever we stepped out, we stayed on that trail to go to our next phase line. And we caught an element that was in front of us that had moved out probably about 20 minutes prior. So we were moving pretty quick.
As we progressed on, after we got past the beaten path, we started getting a lot of shrubbery, a lot of overgrowth of vegetation. And as we continued, the trail just started disappearing and we started breaking up. And at that point, you really had to, you know, knuckle down on your land navigation, you know, shoot an azimuth check, you know, get your terrain association intact, because it was really easy to get disoriented and get lost. When we got over to the rappel site, I just happened to glance over the cliff. It was an eye-opening experience. Yeah, it was tough. Going down wasn't nearly as bad as coming up. Coming up, that path was slick as all get out, and you had to actually pull yourself up the same amount of distance that you traversed on your way down.
The rock face was a little slick, so just execute a little bit more, you know, be a little bit more cautious. Check behind you, make sure that you know where you're gonna attempt to set your feet the next time you stop. And then once you get to the bottom of the rappel, we'd stop, de-rig, and then go up the static red rope, do the climb.
But as I got further and further down the rope, more and more of my body got into the water, all the way into the point where I was neck deep into the water, in which I got to feel the full force of the glacier, because that water was definitely chilly.
Just look at the water, you know it's going to be cold. It's not going to be comfortable, but it's part of your mission. So we clip our packs in, and you push your salt pack down, and then you start moving down a one-rope bridge. And as you get there, you're like chest deep in water that was not very comfortable, but you just drive on.
We made it across there. We didn't really pause much after we got out of the water because it was already late. Everyone wanted to finish.
Once the team regrouped, we moved up to the biathlon range. Cold, wet, feet are starting to hurt because you've been walking all day, and yeah, so that's where you just kind of had to push through it a little bit.
By that point, the board, I wasn't nervous, because, you know, you're so tired, you become weary from the miles, the land navigations, the mountains, you know. So at that point, you're like, okay, I get to sit down. So when we sat down to kind of prepare for the board, I sat and we started to kind of go over the questions that we thought they were going to ask, and At which point we realized that we might not know as much as we think we know. So we went to the board and knocked on the door to go ahead and enter and report to the president. And at which point, you know, he sat us down and they asked our questions, and to our surprise, we actually got, you know, all the questions correct. You really don't know how far you can go as an individual until you push yourself. And a lot of individuals were challenged. And those same individuals may or may not have completed that mission if they're on their own. But with the teammates, you know, we moving as a cohesive unit, we was able to, you know, get past the doubts, get past that moment of weakness, and help each other dig deep and find that strength in order to accomplish the task that was set forth.
Being able to summit the mountain and see everyone push themselves, it was a good team building, and it definitely accomplished the purpose of, I think it accomplished the purpose of what Colonel Hoffmeister was looking for.